Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is the world's most dangerous podcast.
Dope Dealers Podcast.
You know what it is. It's your man Jamal Doman.
Tobe Hixx.
Episode 61.
Oh, yeah.
We ain't done.
Yeah.
You know what it is, man. Well, we're not. Yeah, we not done. Magic Johnson might be done, but we ain't done.
Oh, man.
It's going down, man. Tobe Hixx, what's happening, man?
Man, just glad to be here, man. Shout out to the troops, man.
Always.
The Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, the Coast Guard, the National Guard, the Bloods, and the Crips.
All our soldiers serving overseas, man. We love you guys, man. This podcast is for you guys, man. So shout out to all our military.
Thanks to everybody who came out last week and checked me out at the Throckmorton Theater in Mill Valley, California. And everybody that came out to Laughs Unlimited in Sacramento. Shout out to my man Michael Calvin Jr. for always looking out for a brother. Had a great time.
No doubt, man. So listen, this is part 2 of our second annual Dope Dealer Podcast mock NFL draft. Last week we did the first part and we did picks from 1 through 16, and we're going to do the rest of the first round. 17 to 32 is going down, and of course when we do our mock draft we have to bring in our sports NFL guru. Joey, what's happening, homie?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me back. Episode 61 of the Dope Dealers Podcast.
It's going down, man. It's going down, man.
Yep.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How about you guys?
Yeah, a lot of people
Wonderful.
liked our picks from last week. A lot of people were down with them and thought they could, and so they're real interested to see how the second half is going to go, man. Second half of the draft. So we're going to break it down. Let's get.
I had a few friends who felt otherwise. We'll see. We'll see about some of them, not all, but some of them.
Let's get down for the crown. Started off with the 17th pick. The New York Football Giants. Joey, that's your team. You're on the clock.
Okay, so I got a fellow Giants fan tuning in live right now. What's up, Ron? Haven't had a chance to talk to him about the Giants and how they acquired this pick. So for those of you who've been under a rock and don't know, the Giants got this pick because they traded their star wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr., to the Cleveland Browns.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. They got this pick. They got their third rounder, and they also got safety Jabril Peppers, who's basically going to replace Landon Collins. I'm not necessarily that mad about trading Odell, to be honest with you. He is a superstar talent, but was he worth the headache in New York? I think that Dave Gettleman, Pat Shurmur both just simply said enough was enough. Mm-hmm. Get something while we can. So Giants pass on a quarterback at number 6, taking Montez Sweat, the edge rusher out of Mississippi State. They could go with Daniel Jones from Duke here, who played under Eli Manning's coach from Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. So there's a connection there, and connections definitely play a part. And I agree with my friend Ron here. He said that's the best move the Giants could have made, trading Odell. We acquired. We also traded Olivier Vernon. People forget that too, and those two trades were put together. Mm-hmm. Acquired a right guard, Kevin Zeitler, and our most glaring weakness, in my opinion, last season was the right side of our offensive line. The guys who fit the mold, already Nate Solder at left tackle. You got Will Hernandez at left guard. We got a few centers on the roster right now, and for whatever reason, I just cannot think of any of their names to save my life right now. Mm-hmm. Right tackle, Chad Wheeler, is clearly not the answer. He might be a good backup, but he is not the answer to start. So do we address the right side of the line? Do we address quarterback? Or do we draft a wide receiver? Because we signed Golden Tate, but Golden Tate is not a number 1. And I love me some Golden Tate as a Notre Dame fan.
He's Silver Tate now.
Ooh, hey, he's got a ring. He's got a ring, and he was the Biletnikoff Award winner as a Golden Domer in 2009.
I'm saying his skills right now.
Yeah, he's slow now too.
Yeah,
well, he still got a little speed.
He still has excellent run after the catch ability. But man, back to the pick, number 17 here. Whew, boy, this is a tough one. I'll say this: I don't think they're going to take Daniel Jones. I wouldn't. I don't think he's worth it at number 17.
Okay.
So, is it a right tackle? Do they go wide receiver? I'm going to go with right tackle from the University of Alabama, Jonah Williams.
Still on the clock. Still on the clock.
How he's there's some concerns about his the length of his arms. Not to mention he did not play very well in the national championship game. Well, he obviously wasn't the only one. We all saw the final score. Clemson, they just came to play. It's as simple as that. But
The length of his arms.
always-
That's a cold game.
6'4",
always-
300 pounds.
But
Short
that's what they're
arms.
saying though, is the short arms is the biggest concern with him. But you want to talk about a hog molly? That's exactly what Dave Gettleman likes.
You know, it's crazy. I've just seen a picture of him for the first time. I swear to God, I always thought he was black. I didn't know he was actually white.
You never assume Jamal.
I know. I had no
Come
idea.
on now.
I just Jonah Williams. I just
Yeah.
assumed that
Yeah.
Many people say he's the best offensive tackle in the 2019 draft. So I think from Folsom, California, high school, Folsom, California. Okay.
And the one thing I will say is if the Giants took DK Metcalf right here at number 17, wide receiver from Ole Miss, I would not be upset. Right there. That was who I was kind of on the fence about. But whether we keep it's going to be interesting to see if we keep Sterling Shepard or not. Because there are rumors starting to swirl that he might be on the trade block right now. And him and Golden Tate are just so similar to one another. But I'm only bringing this up because it makes sense. The last two Super Bowls the Giants won, they didn't have a superstar wide receiver. You had a big target in Plaxico Burress who caught the game-winning pass in Super Bowl 42. On Super Bowl 46, you had a guy. Your number one receiver was not a superstar, Victor Cruz.
Yeah.
You had Hakeem Nicks, who was definitely reliable, had huge hands, and Mario Manningham made that great big catch.
Yeah.
So I think
And what about the other brother who made the catch with ball?
David
stuck to-
Tyree.
Yeah,
Of course, David Tyree.
Yeah.
But see, we didn't have a star wide receiver. We really didn't have a star offensively in either scenario. Right there. Saquon Barkley, of course. We'll save that for another day because that kid's the truth.
Yeah. All right, so cool. All right, so let's move it on.
Take care, Ron. Thanks, man.
With the number 19 pick in the draft. No, I'm sorry. With the number 18 pick in the draft, that's the Minnesota Vikings. They up next, and that is me. So I had him slated for Jonah Williams, but you took my pick. But that's what the draft is about. Sometimes that guy that you was going to take is not going to be there. But I still think the Vikings need offensive linemen. Their offensive line is probably the worst in the NFL. They gave Kirk Cousins all that money, and Kirk, got hammered last year. You can't give him all that money and then don't protect him. To me, the two top offensive linemen that we have rated, Cody Ford and Jonah Williams, are off the board. But it's still some good offensive linemen in this draft. So with the 18th pick in the draft, I'm going to Washington State, and I'm taking Andre Dillard
Perfect pick right there.
for the Minnesota Vikings. He selected. He had a strong showing at the Senior Bowl. Natural athleticism, grip strength, when hands are placed properly, and smooth footwork and pass protection are all there. He boasted the fourth fastest 40-yard dash time, the second fastest three-cone drill, and the fastest short shuttle drill. I don't know what any of that is, but they, at the combine they love shit like that. So I think Minnesota would be very happy with Andre Dillard.
That is honestly the perfect pick right there. You hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
Offensive line play was absolutely horrendous. And now, look, if you protect Kirk Cousins, look who he's throwing the ball to. Kyle Rudolph, Stephon Diggs, and Adam Thielen. Dillard's the perfect pick. There's no other way around it. Again, assuming he's available that late. And
You win the game in the trenches.
And believe me when I say there's a team that we'll get to in a few picks that I gotta say I got a feeling is going to trade ahead of a team like Minnesota for the fear of them taking Dillard. There's one team in particular I believe covets Dillard.
All right, let's move on. With the 19th pick in the draft, the Tennessee Titans are on the clock.
Whew, man, down south, Tennessee needs some excitement.
Mariota last year, I think, is
Yeah,
up
and there's
last
deal
year.
And trading for Tannehill.
And trading for Tannehill, that was kind of a bizarre move to me.
Well, I mean, Tannehill's a backup at this point, so they probably we need a strong backup just in case something happened.
Yeah,
Mariota's been brittle.
But even Mariota was like, what are you guys doing? So this is the last year. He needs all the help he can get. man, you got to go out and get that speed. And with the 19th pick, the Tennessee Titans take DK Metcalf. Keep it down south. He can just drive right over from Mississippi.
The freak.
Yeah.
They call him the freak. He went to the combine. This guy, man.
And it running his family. I mean, it's Terry Metcalf and
Yeah, so is that
Eric
his father
Metcalf.
or Eric? Yeah.
Eric
Yes, I
Metcalf.
loved Eric Metcalf growing up. God, I loved that guy.
6'5",
Terry's his
240.
grandfather.
So I mean, that might
He
be
is the
hard.
son. No, he is the son of former national. He's the son of Terrence Metcalf. Terrence Metcalf. Is that Terry Metcalf? Or?
Terrence
Yeah,
Metcalf,
Terrence is
son of a
Terry.
gun.
Okay.
Okay.
You said grandson.
I thought, yeah.
I thought it was son. I thought it was Eric Metcalf from the Falcons.
Oh, that's
who
a
I thought
different
it
Metcalf.
was.
That's Terry, the running back.
That's
His
what's
father
up.
was a running back for the Cardinals.
Like I said, this is a guy who I could see my Giants taking at 17 if he's available.
Yeah, his
I
father Terrence Metcalf was an offensive lineman in the NFL. Yeah, I mean, just freak. I mean, 6'5", 230.
And doesn't he only have like 2% body
Yeah,
fat
yeah,
or
like
something
his-
like
yeah.
that? Something ridiculous.
I was gonna say because his body is just unbelievable. I didn't want to sound,
Yeah.
I got to say
And he
pause
only-
with that, but he has an incredible body.
And he only played 2 seasons too, so he hasn't taken as many hits and all that. So hopefully all that upset. Yeah, they need help in Tennessee. They need some speed. They need some excitement. He can be down there.
No, I think Tennessee will love this pick. They will love this pick. All right, cool. I think, is he our first wide receiver off the board?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, first wide receiver
Yes,
off the
he
board.
is.
All right. All right, with the 20th pick in the draft, whoo, this team got so much going on with it. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ooh, them Pittsburgh Steelers. So I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to get upset if a wide receiver is taken one pick ahead of their pick because the Steelers are masters of drafting receivers in late rounds. Antonio Brown being one of them. Mike Wallace was another one. Hines Ward, my favorite non-New York Giant of all time, I might add. But there was a lot of action, not necessarily for the right reasons. Ben Roethlisberger has 2 championships under his belt. He's still got it. James Conner, he's no scrub.
No.
They've got a good offensive line anchored by Marquise Pouncey, David DeCastro, and Alejandro Villanueva.
True that.
They could use some help at cornerback, so that you would think maybe DeAndre Baker from the University of Georgia or Greedy Williams from LSU. Greedy Williams, excellent cover corner. There's a lot of people worried about his tackling ability.
Yeah.
That won't fly in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. He know that.
They did lose another key cog on their offense, though, this offseason. A lot of people forget. Jesse James, tight end, signed with the Detroit Lions. If this guy falls into their lap, not only are the Steelers going to be rushing to the commissioner, Roger Goodell, with their card, the guy who's getting drafted, he's going to be stoked. He gets to wear the same uniform colors. Noah Fant, tight end from the University of Iowa.
Wow.
So 2 tight ends from Iowa.
Those guys, they're both.
Iowa make
they're both
offensive linemen
sick.
and tight ends.
Yep. Yeah, and not to bring back a bad memory of the Oakland Raiders, but they took a lineman out of Iowa in 2004, Robert Gallery, 2nd overall. I thought that guy was going to be the man.
He had
I thought he was going to be the man. But
He
God,
had an okay career, but it wasn't the number 2 pick in his career.
God, it was awful. It was awful. I'm not even the biggest Raiders fan, but God, I loved
Yeah.
Robert Gallery, and I just thought he fit that mold.
Noah Fant, 6'4", 250, big boy.
Big
Oh.
boy, lean, great athlete.
Omaha South Magnet High School.
That sound
Yes,
that
sir.
sound familiar to you, Toby?
Oh yeah. That's,
I know he from Omaha. Okay.
Omaha South.
How did Nebraska let him slip?
Nebraska didn't. Well, we won't let nobody slip no more. That's when they wasn't doing too well. Now we got Scott Frost at the helm, just turning around.
All right, cool. I think the Steelers. Giving Ben another weapon.
Another
Giving Ben
weapon?
Another weapon.
Last time they took a tight end in the first round was Heath Miller from the University of Virginia in 05. And they went on to win the Super Bowl that year. Heath Miller was a stud. That was the God I loved watching that guy play.
All right, let's move it on. Seattle. We're going to go to Seattle. Seattle Seahawks with the 21st pick in the Dope Dealer Podcast Mock NFL Draft Part 2.
I'll be there next week.
Seattle. They can go so many ways. They about to pay the quarterback. Russell about to get paid big time.
Is
Maybe.
he?
No, they paying him.
Shit.
I mean,
They paying him.
so
What they going? What's the other
but I
option?
mean, but that deadline though, I mean, I think they'd be crazy to let him walk.
No,
But
they not letting him walk.
but Ciara, she's trying to get him to New York.
He says,
Listen.
that's funny.
But that's another reason why I'm not sleeping on the Giants not picking a quarterback in this draft, at least not early, for that reason.
So Seattle is going through changes. Earl Thomas is no longer there.
Speaking of getting paid,
No longer
Baltimore.
there. So it's some picks. I mean, they was hoping that Rashawn Gary dropped down to him. They was hoping that Montez Sweat dropped down to him. That didn't happen. I like DeAndre Baker, cornerback out of Georgia. And I also like Jalen Ferguson. Jalen Ferguson, small school. Pete Carroll loved them small school type players. But we're going to go to the big school. And we're going to go to Notre Dame. We're going to take defensive tackle, 6'7", 300 pounds, Jerry Tillery out of Notre Dame. They need help up the middle. Like I said, you win in the trenches. And this is a guy who, this is what they need. 6'7", beast, senior. And this is, once Pete Carroll gets his hand on him and just molds him, this is what that defense needs. So that's where we going. 21st pick, Jerry Tillery out of Notre Dame.
I dig it. I dig it right there. And once again, Notre Dame Golden Domer fan right here. Always wish nothing but the best for those guys. Now, you talk about, that defense, it needs a little bit more youth on it, needs a little bit more energy and excitement. This is the perfect guy for Pete Carroll.
All right, number 22, we're going to go to B. Moore with the mayor.
More Ravens.
With the mayor, the mayor's corrupt. They trying to get rid of the mayor over there.
They got to get that quarterback some help. Fuck the mayor.
Yeah, so the Ravens, young quarterback, Tobe Hixx, what's going on?
Man, he needs as many weapons as he can get on offense. Their defense always tends to work itself out. It gets cold up there too, so they need somebody on offense who can who be able to take the cold. With the 22nd pick, the Baltimore Ravens select Irv Smith Jr., tight end out of Alabama.
What? Hold on, who is this?
Irv Smith Jr.
Irv Smith.
Yes, tight end out of Alabama.
So would they be running a 2 tight end set because they took Hayden Hurst in the first round last year?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Hold on. Tobe Hixx is always throwing the curveballs. I never even heard it. I got robbed by a dude named Irv Smith.
no, Irv's legit. He's
6'4", 240. Okay.
he's definitely
Irv
one.
Smith Jr. Swerving Irvin, they call him.
Yeah, he's definitely one who will likely fall to round 2 just because or a late first rounder with the Patriots because tight end is just not as big of a need for NFL teams as other positions are.
Yeah.
Not to like I said, the strength, this draft offensive lineman, and then you throw in God, why am I drawing a blank? Offensive lineman, edge rushers, of course, as I already mentioned. Tight end, he could, but he is definitely somebody you cannot sleep on as a first-round talent. I just don't think he will go in round 1. So there's nothing wrong with that pick.
His father played in the NFL, Irv Smith Sr. I don't remember him.
He played for the Cowboys, didn't he?
Did he? I got to look him up. Cool. All right, so you giving the young bucks some little,
Some more.
some targets.
Another one, they're going to run 2 tight ends.
They lost C.J. Mosley. Terrell Suggs, did he
Terrell
retire?
Suggs,
He
he went to
gone.
the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh.
Eric Weddle went to the Rams.
Ooh, so it's a lot of change
A
over
lot
there.
of change over there. They added Mark Ingram in the backfield. So they're expect to be a run-first offense, which is perfect for a guy with the mobility of Lamar Jackson and the likes of him right there. I'm pulling for Lamar Jackson. Just hopefully he puts his time in this offseason, improves his accuracy, and just goes from there.
Yeah. I think I like the young kid. I like him. All right, with the number 23 pick in the draft, the Houston Texans are on the clock.
Okay, so the Houston Texans are a team who desperately need offensive line help to protect Deshaun Watson.
True that.
Led the NFL in getting sacked last season 62 times. That's almost 4 times a game for a mobile quarterback. You've got to be kidding me. So this is the team I was saying I believe will trade up to get ahead of a team like the Vikings so they could get Andre Dillard from Washington State. But, of course, they do have some other needs that they need to address. Here is a guy, first-round talent. I mentioned he could have gone number 20 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Perfect mentor to help bring out the toughness in somebody on any defensive squad, J.J. Watt. So I think the Houston Texans roll the dice and they select cornerback from LSU, Greedy Williams at number 23
Still on-
overall.
Greedy is still, I'm surprised some mock drafts had him dropping a little bit, but he was supposed to be the first cornerback, which I think he still is the first cornerback off the.
Him and maybe DeAndre Baker are like the only two, and then there's the DB from UW, Byron Murphy
yeah.
is the other one. So, I mean, we'll go.
Well, they just got rid of Kevin Johnson, that first round draft pick from a few years ago. That didn't work out. So
did not turn out very well.
LSU.
Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, another LSU product right there.
Yeah.
He opted to sign with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's a safety, but obviously has the versatility, where you can put him, to line up at cornerback.
Shit,
Put
hopefully
him in the
Honey
box.
Badger won't get in trouble. Everybody getting in trouble in Kansas City. Shit.
We'll talk more about that. I can't wait to hear more. But
all right, with the number 24 pick in the draft, the Oakland, soon-to-be Los Angeles Raiders are on the board. Tobe Hixx.
Las Vegas Raiders. Not Los Angeles.
Las Vegas Raiders. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got to get that shit straight there. We got 3 picks in this first round. We got
This is your second pick,
This
yeah.
will be the second one. Man, this would be a great day for the Oakland Raiders if this could fall into our lap and we just keep the shit going, because it's a family affair.
Oh, God.
And the Oakland Raiders select with the number 24 pick wide receiver Marquise Brown from Oklahoma, relative of Antonio Brown.
I didn't know that. Oh,
cousin,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
Oh,
relative.
so two crazy ass. Browns.
No,
Yeah.
but just cousin, not.
Yeah.
Two crazy ass Browns.
Oh,
yeah,
when-
you gotta say
oh, okay.
relative. We don't use that word.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, yeah, no C's.
Oh, God.
relative.
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
guys.
Yeah, wide receiver. That's okay. Cool. I didn't know he was a Brown.
Yeah. You didn't know he was a Brown?
I
That's
didn't
his
know he
last
was
name,
related
motherfucker.
to. I didn't know he was
Yeah,
related
that's
to.
his relative. You didn't see
So two
Antonio
crazy-
at the
Anybody last
national
name? I don't draft anybody last name Brown. Bobby Brown, Chris Brown,
championship.
Antonio Brown,
Hey, Marquise Brown.
James Brown.
Hey, you didn't see see Antonio at the games. Yeah, Marquise he's a baller, man.
I mean, let me tell you something. Them Browns, I don't mess with them Browns, man. Cool. So, so the Raiders they took Quentin Williams, so they got the defense, and this gives them another target. Give them another target. Okay.
For Derek Carr
for Derek
whoever their quarterback of the future will be.
Mm-hmm.
I think Carr stays.
I can
What do
see
you
it.
think, Toby? What do you think, by the way, about their QB situation?
I think I think they should just. I think Gruden. I think he might overthink it and just fuck this up. But he should just stick with Derek Carr, coach him up, and get them assets around him. But honestly, the way things are like the new way that some general managers look at things is that They don't want to pay these quarterbacks that big money. So they looking at I could see being a fan of just drafting a quarterback every year.
Andy Reid used to do that.
It makes a lot of sense now that I think about it.
Andy
Two
Reid used to do
quarterbacks.
that.
I mean, yeah. You can never have too much of anything at
No.
any position, especially in football.
And the thing is, if you can find one, and you can keep good ones without giving them that major money and keep the talent around them, then it's definitely helpful.
Cool. All right. So we at the 25th pick in the draft. My Philadelphia Eagles. We are on the clock.
Boo.
We are on the clock. I mean, so many places we can go. I mean, so many places we can go. Offensive line. Jason Peters is 37 now and doesn't have too much left, but we have him back for one more year. Should we get a young, but all of, Dillard is gone. Jonah Williams is gone. So we're not really crazy about the offensive lineman. Safety, Juan Thornhill out of Virginia. A lot of people talking about him. I think we can get him in the second round. He snuck up in the first round of some mock drafts. Malcolm Jenkins is our safety, but he's 33, so it's time to get young in that position.
Team leader. He's been around for a while, though. 2009 first-round pick.
Cody Ford has been taken too, so our offensive lineman. Now, in the trenches, we can get, in the trenches, Dexter Lawrence has been taken. We've been looking at him. Jerry Tillery is taken. We was looking at him. Now, Jeffrey Simmons was actually going to be a high pick, but he tore his ACL, so he dropped down. We can still get him, but is he going to really help us next year coming back from an ACL? Got Draymond Jones, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. Nasir Adderley out of Delaware. A lot of mock drafts have us take him.
That's a wild card. That's an interesting prospect in this draft is Nasir Adderley out of Delaware.
I know the Eagles do not like to take running backs in the first round, and I know a lot of teams don't like to take running unless it's a freak like Saquon or
Adrian Peterson, Ezekiel Elliott.
Peterson, the gentleman from Jacksonville a few years ago, the
Leonard
big boy,
Fournette.
Leonard Fournette. We signed as a free agent back from Chicago.
Jordan Howard,
who should help us out. But he's not the long-term answer. Now, can we get a running back in the second round? Could be. But I'm going to break the running back first round curse. And the Philadelphia Eagles are finally going to take a running back. We're going to go to the University of Alabama. Josh Jacobs, running back out of University of Alabama.
Wow.
Yeah, young guy, and the thing about it is not a lot of tread on them tires. I mean, so he's not one of them running backs that's been used so much in college. And he can catch out of out of the backfield. Eagles love their running backs to pass catch. We love our running backs to be versatile. So I'm taking Josh Jacobs, running back out of Alabama.
and I'm all about the thought of, hey, let's try to break this curse. I get it. Don't get me wrong, how some teams prefer, I want to stay away from certain positions in round one. I get it. I get it. You figure you can get a serviceable option in the later rounds. But I really like that pick right there. And it's probably going to piss off the next team on the clock, the Indianapolis Colts, because offensively, I think that's probably something they're looking at. To add right there. But now you mentioned, there are multiple directions the Eagles could go, but they're still very much a relevant team.
Right.
Barring, obviously hoping that what's his name stays healthy. Carson Wentz. But I like that pick for them though.
Cool. So we are moving and grooving with the 26th pick in the draft. Joey just spoke him up. The Indianapolis Colts, who surprised a lot of people last year.
Oh, yeah. So, once again, we mentioned on last week's episode, Tim McTire, his son, about to start his third season with the Miami Dolphins. Tim also spent half a season with the Colts in 1999. So, another good friend of mine brought up a point to me the other day. Peyton Manning turned 30 in 2006. The Super Bowl was played in Miami, and they beat the Bears for Peyton Manning's first ring.
Okay.
Andrew Luck is turning 30, and where's the Super Bowl at this year? Miami.
Oh man, please.
You never
Your
know.
boy had to be high as fuck to think of that. To
Oh, he
put
didn't
that
think
shit
about
together.
it. Somebody
Yeah.
put it up on Twitter and he sent
Yeah.
it to me.
Wow.
So could this be the year for Andrew Luck? MVP candidate and MVP caliber season last year at that.
Exactly.
They made out like bandits in that trade with the Jets, getting Quentin Nelson, who's a stud at left guard right
yes.
now. Got Darius Leonard in last year's draft class. He led the NFL in tackles as a rookie. The Colts are a very unique team. They didn't make a lot of moves this offseason. Their biggest splash, Justin Houston. I think it's safe to say his best days are behind him, but he can still be productive if he can be healthy. They've got some assets there in the pass rush. They got some guys in the secondary. I've been a big fan of Malik Hooker since he came out of the Ohio State University
him.
in 2016. I think they go with the interior of their defensive line. If it wasn't for a torn ACL in January, he would be a top 10 pick right now.
Yes.
From Mississippi State University, defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons, 26th overall to the Indianapolis Colts.
Wow.
Yes.
So some risk.
Joey spoke on it like
Some risk right there with the
yeah,
injury.
he was top 10, top 15 before the ACL.
So, but the Colts, though, it's just so somebody brought up a point. You look at the teams that perennially are in contention. The Steelers, the Eagles in recent seasons. The Patriots. That honestly goes without saying. They don't make a boatload of high-profile moves or big-money deals every offseason. The Colts are being smart with their funds and their financing right now. They surprised everybody making the playoffs this last season.
It surprised everybody.
Everybody. And I think they'll be right back there. Super Bowl, to my buddy Chad.
Well, Andrew Luck.
Not this year.
Andrew Luck
Shit.
showed you.
Never know,
an
but
elite
he's-
quarterback.
Yeah, he wasn't even throwing the football at the beginning
He's
of
the
last
real.
year.
That's a bad dude, Andrew Luck, right there. That's a real bad dude.
All right, moving on with the number 27 pick in the draft, the Oakland, by way of Las Vegas, Raiders.
Oh man, yeah,
Tobe Hixx.
we need some pass rushing. We had no choice but to take Williams out of Alabama because at that point he was the best player available. We gonna when you want pass rushing, I don't know. A lot of times it's good to grab them kids from down south. They always big, strong, fast. Faster, I should say. And so with the 27 pick, the Oakland Raiders will take Brian Burns, pass rusher out of Florida State.
That's a guy who could very well pop into the top 10. He is believed to have that talent. His game is raw, but people believe he could be the next Aldon Smith on the field. Hopefully not off the field. I mean, you want to talk about a player, what could have been Aldon Smith. Holy sheesh.
All right, that's good.
Yeah,
listen,
I
man.
really like that pick a lot.
I like that. I like them 3 picks for the Raiders. That's nice little the build around. Nice
Hopefully
little.
Mike Mayock, has some similar thinking to Mr. Hicks here. Mike Mayock, he knows his football.
Yeah, he does.
I like him in the
But,
GM spot for
shit.
you guys.
All right, we're gonna go down I-5, and we're gonna go stop in Los Angeles. The former San Diego, but now Los Angeles Chargers.
Just anywhere Chargers.
That's still weird.
Yeah, I know it's still. I mean, please
They
go
have-
back to San Diego, man. Come on, y'all, stop that nonsense. Chargers can go in a lot of different areas. Some players are off the board. They was looking at Jerry Tillery, Cody Ford, Dexter Lawrence. They're off the board. Mac Wilson, a linebacker from Alabama, is still on the board. Nasir Adderley, safety. They hit big time with Durbin James last year. He's doing.
17th over. That was one
Yeah.
of 3 picks we got right last year was Derwin James. And I remember saying, I'm like, man, I'd be shocked if he lasted here. Sure enough, that was the one I got right.
We're going to stay on the defensive side. And we're going to go cornerback. We're going to go to the University of Washington, and we're going to take Byron Murphy, cornerback.
To my boy
yeah.
Tony Parrish, I'll just want to tell him, go Dogs. That's a former Husky alum right there, en route to the NFL.
Yeah, so I think Byron Murphy, a lot of people have him as the top cornerback in a draft. Tough guy, can tackle, can cover. The Chargers will be very happy with him.
Agree 100% right there, and I'm sure he won't mind getting out of that rain-infested city of Seattle, which I am excited to visit for the first time next week.
Oh man,
Great comedy town. Great
it's a
comedy
great
town.
Maybe
place.
Gonna catch a baseball game while I'm there. Hoping to try an edible or two while I'm up there as well.
Yeah.
You mentioned Byron Murphy, how he may be the best cornerback in this draft class right here. Definitely a first-round talent. You can make the case he might go further up. His numbers did not pan out well at the Combine. And really a lot of Washington players did not pan out well at the Combine. So if he's here at number 28, warm weather Los Angeles,
Going to that new
the
stadium
Chargers
in
may
a
have
couple
gotten
years.
him. The Chargers may be getting him for a bargain at 28.
All right, we're a couple picks, 4 picks left. Kansas City is on the clock with the number 29th pick in the draft.
Ooh,
Kansas
man.
City Chiefs.
Should have been 32nd, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
If D Ford didn't line up 6 inches into the neutral zone.
Yeah. And then after that, he got a big deal. Isn't that something? That's remarkable. Kansas City, they need. Obviously, we know how explosive the offense is. That's if Tyreek Hill is able to play.
Because
That's
there's some suspicion with an incident that happened at his home, correct?
Yeah, something to do with his child or something. I don't know what he.
It was involved with a kid. I believe the initial report I read was that he was not a suspect, that he was not listed as a suspect.
Whenever you black, you're a suspect.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
He's a suspect. Shit.
Yeah.
But so I think the Chiefs, they did recently get some defensive help with adding the Honey Badger. So I think they should go to offensive line. And with the 29th pick, the Kansas City Chiefs select Garrett Bradbury.
Good pick.
Can play
Garrett.
center and guard.
Yeah, Garrett.
From NC State.
Yes, Garrett Bradbury from NC State. That is correct.
And that's a guy who, he might be the type, to go to a team like the Texans. I just feel like from a value standpoint, Greedy Williams was someone the Texans could not pass on at number 23 right there. But excellent pick for the Chiefs here. Once again, you can never have too much help at any position, but offensive line especially. You've seen the mold in recent seasons, in particular when the Cowboys formed their line with Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, and Tyron Smith. You can never have too much help on the line. And here's the thing, even though the Chiefs' offense was as explosive as it was last year, the line wasn't a weakness. It wasn't exactly a strength either. You just had a super sick quarterback, somebody that we have. It's unlike anything we've ever seen in Patrick Mahomes. If you give that guy more time in the pocket, oh boy, whew. And
That's
I mean,
true.
well, who does he have as his top 2 targets? I'd say it's a toss up between Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. You've got we all know what happened with Kareem Hunt and how he's now ended up in Cleveland. Sammy Watkins, the guy, he's someone that needs to be accounted for, but because the other 2 get so much attention, that's how he gets open. If he gets the ball in the open field, you want to talk about yards after the catch, and he showed it in the playoffs. Sammy Watkins is nice. And
He just can't stay healthy, though.
Yeah, but man, God, I'm just thinking about that, though. More protection for Mahomes, more time to throw with that arm and his speed. Damn. That's a great pick right there. And I got to say, Toby, I'm impressed because I don't know if you realize this. You drafted for the entire AFC West between this episode and the last episode.
No, I didn't realize that.
And so, coming from a Raiders fan, he totally could have sabotaged all their picks and given all of them a kicker or a punter or something.
I didn't even realize I did that.
I didn't realize it either. I had no idea.
Woo! Man, I can't believe I didn't realize it when we initially set the picks. But great.
All right, so
Great pick right
let's
there.
move on. We are with the Green Bay Packers. This is the pick they got from the New Orleans Saints. Who did they trade to get this pick?
So the Saints traded up in last year's draft to take the pass rusher Marcus Davenport
That's
from
right,
University
yeah.
of Texas San Antonio. I think they traded up 13 picks to get him.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Hence netted, an additional first. Got them a late first rounder, and then the Packers traded up with Seattle, took Jair Alexander.
That's right.
And then they got, I think, who was the other corner they got? Was it Josh Jackson they got in
Josh
round
Jackson
two?
from Iowa.
So another, talking about the Hawkeyes. Again, right there.
So Green Bay is on the clock with the 30th pick. Is that you, Joey?
It is me. And so here's the case, because Green Bay does have 2 first-round picks. They do have other assets, late in later rounds of the draft. They would probably trade up from here. The way they address their defense in the offseason, I think it's safe to assume they won't be looking there in round 1.
And remember, they took Devin Bush, the linebacker, early with the 12th pick.
I mean, boy, this is I got to admit, man, this is a real tough one here. But I know he's got all that money right now, that being Aaron Rodgers. You've got to protect the guy. But there is no offensive lineman worthy of being taken at this point, considering who has already been taken.
True that.
I mean, the run game, again, I really don't see anybody being worth taking. I'm going to shock you guys right here. The Green Bay Packers are worried about Aaron Rodgers' health, amongst other news he's made in the media lately with comments. Daniel Jones from Duke, quarterback, 30th overall to Green Bay.
I wouldn't be too shocked.
Oh,
he can sit.
Aaron Rodgers gone. He go. Oh,
No,
man.
but I mean, he can
He'll
sit.
blow his top, man.
He can sit behind. He can sit behind him and learn.
He
I
can
mean,
sit behind
isn't
him
that
for
what
3
Aaron,
years. That's what
isn't
he
that
did
what
with
Aaron
Brett.
said? Yeah, and Aaron did the same thing. So if Aaron got a problem with it, I mean, come on, man.
After everything he just went through, how he failed over the past few years with the offenses, and then now you're gonna bring in a quarterback and put him right behind him. He gonna be heated.
Oh, let him learn.
Hey, they didn't even consult him about their new head coaching hire. And sorry for all the build-up right there, but I got to admit, that was just one of those.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really don't know where they would go at this point, considering everyone who's been taken off the board already.
Yeah. All right, so we are final 2 picks, and this is the Super Bowl. That boring-ass, whack-ass Super Bowl. These are the Super Bowl teams. With the 31st pick in the draft, the Los Angeles Rams are on the clock. So many spots they can go. So many ways they can go. We was looking at Jeffrey Simmons. He's off the board. Garrett Bradbury, he's off the board. Dexter Lawrence is off the board. I like Nasir Adderley, the safety.
Todd Gurley might be off the board.
Yeah. I like Nasir Adderley, the
That would be
safety from Delaware. But I'm going to give them cornerback help. And I'm going to go to my alma mater. We're going to go to North Philadelphia.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Temple University. And we're going to go to Rock Yasin, the cornerback. Big boy came in, only played for us 1 year. He was a junior college transfer. I think the college he went to shut down. So he came to us for a senior year. And showed improved and worked himself
Damn,
up.
what school he go to shut down?
Yeah, I got to do the.
fuck is
if
that
I
about?
remember,
and then became and
Yeah.
he's a first round talent.
It became- yeah.
He has a first round grade.
yeah, I'll look up what school. I think it was a school that dropped the football program or something like
Oh,
that.
okay. Shut down. Dude, I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, this motherfucker went to it. He broke. The school broke. Where the fuck did he go?
But he worked his way up into a first round pick, man. And so shout out to him. And I think coming out here for the Rams, you give them some cornerback help. I know some of their cornerbacks are getting old, so he's the guy. I was really trying to juggle him or Nasir, also local product, Delaware, local product. Nasir Adderley, I was trying to, but I think they'll go with Rock Yasin. So that's what I got. The Rams.
Well, because Marcus Peters was a liability defensively for a great part of the season last year.
That is
He's
true.
on a fifth-year option for this coming season, if I remember correctly. Let me see, 2015.
It's his option?
Yep, it was the it was the team option from the contract. So he will play it. I mean, at that price, he's talented enough. They're getting him at a bargain. I don't blame him. But you got to have depth right there. Unless he steps up his game, he's probably going to be hitting the free agent market. So I like this pick right there. Think about the future. While you're adding depth, you also could be adding somebody for your future as well.
No, actually, he transferred as a graduate student. He was playing at the FCS level. He was playing at that level, so he wanted to step up. He he gambled on himself. He knew he had talent so he wanted to play his last year at the Division I level. Not a big time school, but he knew going to Temple he can go there. He can get some playing time instead of going to maybe LSU, somewhere where people are already established. And so he gambled on himself. He was first team All-American Athletic Conference as a senior. 12 pass breakups, 47 tackles, 2 for losses, 2 interceptions. He was the guy that we put on your team's best wide receiver. We put him on there, and he did real good for himself. So, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the final pick in the Dope Dealer Podcast, second annual mock NFL draft.
Second annual.
Okay.
Part 2. And it's the Super Bowl champions, them motherfuckers. New England Patriots.
Worst Super Bowl I've ever watched in my lifetime, by the way, by far. And it's not that the defense was necessarily spectacular on either side. I want to be very clear about that. And I just realized
I ate good that day, though. I did.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I ate real good that day too. I drank.
Was horrible.
I drank real good that day too. But because to tell you the truth, now if I could go back and do the Packers pick over again, I would. You want to talk about those motherfucking Patriots. They'll get a guy who's like a third-round grade. They'll take him here at number 32, and he will become a star or a perennial Pro Bowler at the minimum. Tom Brady is one of the best quarterbacks of all time. But we saw the Super Bowl. How many good throws did he really have? He had one to Gronk near the stretch of the game. Near the home stretch of the game, the deep pass. And, got a former Division I safety tuning in, Kerry Jansen. What's going on, Kerry? Played at the University of Idaho with Mike Upati, as well as a few of my buddies from high school. They need to think about the future after Tom Brady. From West Virginia University, the Patriots select Will Grier, quarterback.
It's funny that some mock drafts had them taking him. Some mock drafts had them taking him.
I like him. I like his game.
I like his game a lot. He's got some moxie. That guy's
grown,
got
he
some
a
swagger
wife
on the
kids
field.
And
He's got a rifle on him.
One thing we've all become accustomed to, though, as football fans, if there's one thing we know about the Patriots when it comes to the NFL draft, they love to trade down. Rarely ever do you see them trade up. And, you think about, some of the studs that they've taken. They took Patrick Chung, 34th overall in 2009. Not a stud, but I'd say they gotten more than enough value for a 34th overall pick with him. Rob Gronkowski was a second-round pick in 2010. Aaron Hernandez, we all know his story.
He was a killer.
But he was also a killer on the football field too, because that boy could ball. Fourth round pick right there. You look at so many of these guys that they've got, and that's what it's been so uncharacteristic to hear. That they were in the mix, in the bidding war to trade for Odell Beckham Jr. at the trade deadline last year. Giving Stephon Gilmore that big contract in free agency 2 seasons ago was just not what we're used to when it comes to the New England Patriots. So this is really something else right here. Will they stay put? Probably not. But if they do, they're thinking about the life without Tom Brady.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was our first round draft, and it's funny. There's still some names. People gonna get some good players in the second round, man. Christian Wilkins, the defensive lineman from Clemson. A.J. Brown, the wide receiver from Ole Miss. So it's still some in the second round. It's still gonna be some good players, man. Yeah, so it's
there always are.
Deebo Samuel, the wide receiver from South Carolina. Some people had him. Dalton Risner, OT from Kansas State. Some people had him. Yeah. So in the second round, yeah, you can get some good talent.
There's definitely some very good talent, and you know who I actually, if like
Greg
I said,
Little, I forgot Little. Yeah, at one point he was
from
he was a top 10 from Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Yeah.
But you know who I like once again, like I said, if I could go back and redo the Packers pick, I would pick that wideout from Arizona State University, N'Keal Henry. I would actually say that he might be the kind of guy that would fit well with a Aaron Rodgers type.
Reminds me of Anquan Boven, that N'Keal Henry. Yeah, Mac Wilson,
He
a
go
linebacker.
but he would go from absolutely warm weather to absolutely freezing weather.
He would, but they play in their fair share of cold weather from time to time as well.
There's some good players. Draymond Jones out of Ohio State is still on the board. Deontay Thompson, safety out of Alabama. Jacob Polite. I had him as a first round grade.
A lot of people do have him as a first round talent out of Florida. A lot of those Florida boys, though, they
Ferguson
always seem
didn't
to
go?
find so many of those Florida guys, though. So many of those Gators always seem to find a way to slip on draft day. Because that's another thing too. We still got one more week until the draft.
Hopefully nobody
I was going to
post
say
a picture smoking
a gas mask out of a gas mask.
Hopefully,
But,
you know
dude,
what
I was
mean?
going to say
Something going to happen. You know it always
I was
happens.
just going to say, you guys want to guess on who it's going to happen to?
Something's going to happen. Somebody going to do something crazy. Somebody going to smack their bitch up the day before.
Oh, you mean before the
NFL draft,
Yeah.
yeah. Somebody going to get caught smoking weed.
Because last year it didn't seem to hurt these guys, but Baker Mayfield, the video surfaced of his arrest from when he
Yeah.
was at Texas Tech. Josh Allen, apparently back in high school, he went on Twitter, made some like racial and homophobic tweets.
Yeah.
That didn't really seem to hurt them too much, but we all know Laramie Tunsil, like you said, the gas mask in 2016.
Yeah.
Guy was believed to be the best player in that draft. He fell to 13 in Miami.
Miami was happy.
And let's see, who has the 13th pick this year? Oh, it's the Miami Dolphins.
Conspiracy.
I cannot believe I just thought of that right now.
We appreciate you. Listen, we appreciate you guys listening. Hopefully, please watch the NFL draft and enjoy yourself, man, and have a good time. We love you guys, man. Definitely check us out on iTunes. Leave a review. Subscribe to us. Rate us. Review us. Subscribe to us. We also have a phone number that you can call. What's the phone number, Tobe Hixx?
818-335-2065.
One more time.
818-335-2065.
Definitely, man. And shout out to our sponsors this month, Doman Cheap Movers. Doman Cheap Movers, the number one moving company in the San Fernando, Los Angeles Valley. Listen,
You need to move.
we
they'll
can
make
do
it
smooth. That's it, man. Definitely. You got anything coming up, Toby?
Not for a couple of weeks.
Okay, all right. Listen, you can book us. All three of us, me, Toby, Joey, are talented comedians. So please book us. You have a function, clean, dirty, young, old, school, weddings, anything. We host. We're comedians. So come see us. Book us. Hit us up. Instagram at Jamal Doman, JamalDaman. I'm sorry, can't even spell my name. JamalDoman.
At Tobe Hixx, TOBEHI. Oh, fuck, I forgot that's how to spell my name. TOBEHIXX.
Joey, where can they find you at?
On Instagram at Joe Stradamus, JOE
name.
at JOESTRADAMUS _ at Joe
Motherfucker don't even
Stradamus.
smoke weed.
Joey Eberlin, JOEYEBERLEIN on Facebook. Catch me at the Irvine Improv, June 11th. Making my Irvine Improv debut. Friends and family, your boy's coming home.
Yes, April 27th. I am having my 20th year in LA comedy show at the J Spot, April 27th. So check me out at the J Spot.
J Spot, that's spelled J Spot.
Spot.
But it's just the letter J, everybody. It's not
Yeah, the letter J.
JAY, just the letter J.
So check me out April 27th. We still putting the show together, the flyer. But you follow me on all my social media, and I'll be getting the word out, man. Out to you, man. Joey, we appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
I
Joey.
appreciate you guys having me. Last thing I got to clear up, I know this was a big concern last year, but no, everyone, I am not doing adult films. There's this new product out on the market called Sugarhead. Apparently, it has herbs and vitamins in it to increase your libido. So I haven't seen any of the videos yet, but my understanding is some of them might be lurking out there right now. Because
Hey,
guess
well,
who the
hold
star
on.
of the ad is?
Oh, hold on, man.
It's your
You-
boy.
Hey, look. Last time you came, you brought us some water. Why the fuck you didn't bring no sugar head? That's the shit we really need. We got water.
Here's the thing. Here's
True that.
Here's the thing.
Well,
I
I
brought.
need my
Hey,
libidos,
I brought the water. I've also brought free swag too. Don't
Yeah, I
forget
need my
that.
libido.
There you go.
I need my libidos though.
Dang. Well, if there's one thing I will say, it's this. I actually got to pay for the Sugarhead this
Oh,
time.
that's funny, man. How they charge the motherfucker in the commercial promoting the sugar head?
Appreciate
There must
you.
be somebody
Easy.
black
But
behind
nah,
sugar
but-
head.
But yeah, everybody, you know what? Look, NFL draft April 25th to the 27th. I'm going to be up in Seattle for days 2 and 3 of the draft. I'm excited to see what happens. Trades, drama, storylines.
Yeah.
This draft's going to have a lot of it. I don't think it'll be as exciting as last year. I want to be clear, but it's going to be lit.
Yes, definitely, man. We're looking forward to it, man. We appreciate you guys listening to us, man. We definitely appreciate all the armed service. You know, we do it for you guys, all the armed forces, man. We love you guys, all the troops, the soldiers overseas.
Thank
we
you
love
for your
guys.
service.
Thank
Army,
you for your
Navy,
service.
Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, National Guard.
Shout out to Paul, our engineer. Shout out to
Blast
Comedy
and the
Pop-Up.
Crips.
We
Paul's
love you
the
guys.
man.
We out.
Come home and baby, we